Hello and welcome to episode 136 of Ready to Mosh. I'm Kev P and alongside me is the O to my 2, it's Jim G.
Did you nearly forget who you were then?
Maybe. I've been sat in the sun, it's not my fault.
Oh, it is. Yes, the O to my 2, the 2 to my O. We're going to the O2.
We are.
Why, you ask? Well, we're going to Uprising Festival again. And that is the O2 in Leicester, because I realise as I've said that
there are lots of O2s, yeah.
Yes, the O2 Academy in Leicester. Once again, playing host to Uprising Festival, and this is the 7th edition, and our second.
Our second, yeah. Yeah, last year was amazing, and this year's shaping up to be amazing as well. Some really, really strong bands. And this episode, we're going to go through and preview some of those bands.
We are, yes.
But before the Uprising on Saturday, there is also some bands playing Friday night at the Firebook.
Yes, the night before Uprising, if you will.
Mm.
And we're going to that this year. We couldn't get last year, unfortunately, but we are intending to be there this year. And there are 4 bands for the bargain price of £10.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
And also looking forward to actually going to the Firebook, because it's one of those venues that I've heard so much about but never actually been to.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what kind of size it is and what the place is like.
Small, I believe.
Yeah, I imagined it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine it's probably going to be a similar size to the Tap.
Yeah. It's always hard to quantify the Tap size-wise because it's all what I like to call higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a horseshoe, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen pictures though, and yeah, it looks like bodega size, I want to say.
Yeah.
As in Nottingham bodega, that may mean nothing to anyone, but
yeah,
well, we know what we're talking about. Anywho, first band on the Friday night then are a band that we are familiar with, and that is Voidwalker.
Yeah, we interviewed them at Bloodstock last year.
We did, and we saw them win their Metal to the Masses final in Leicester at Uprising.
Yes.
And then saw them play at Bloodstock, and then we had a chat with them.
Yeah, so we know all about Voidwalker, kind of like a progressive, kind of technical deathcore band from Leicester.
Yeah, they released a new EP in March, Slow Decay, which is really good. And yeah, looking forward to seeing them again.
After them is Killer, who I know the name of Killer, but I'm sure I've come across them before, but couldn't find anything.
Yeah, they're one of those that I've seen their name pop up a lot. They're kind of a melodeath band.
Like melodic death metal.
Melodic death metal, yeah. I really like them. They released an album, The Gods Have Spoken, last June, which is really good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them.
They are then followed by Foul Body Autopsy, death metal band. Been around quite a while.
Yeah, and it is in fact a one-man band.
Yeah.
Which I'm intrigued about in the same way.
How it's going to work.
Yeah, like a death metal version of Hellripper, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's going to be more than one person on stage, but then we thought that about that person that supported Greg Puciato, and that was just one.
That was just one person, yeah.
That was Trace Amount, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
But yeah, again, it's a band that I've heard the name of a lot. Always wanted to see live, so looking forward to.
And then it's headlined by Hang the Bastard, who are kind of like a doom sludge sort of death metal.
Pretty brutal on the ears from what I've heard of them.
Oh, yeah. I've actually noticed on the Friday, all of the bands do seem really heavy.
Yeah.
You know, in comparison, on the Saturday, there are some lighter bands, which is what they did last year.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a warm-up, but with a very high temperature.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of death metal that night, but it's looking to be a decent night, that.
Yeah, definitely. And for £10, it's definitely worth going along to. As far as I'm aware, tickets are still available for that one as we speak. And that kicks off at 7:30.
So then moving on to the Saturday, it's the Metal to the Masses final for Leicester. And as we record, the semi-finals actually haven't taken place yet. So at this point in time, we don't know who's going to be there.
But we can tell you who's in the semi-finals. So semi-final 1 is Feral State, Loach, In Winter's Grasp, and Independent Trucking. And semi-final 2 is Running with Knives, Break Them, Inflictions, and Black Anis. And interestingly, the 3 bands who were runners-up in the final in Leicester last year are all back in the semi-finals this year.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of familiarity with all of those bands then.
Yeah, so we might be seeing some of the same bands that we saw in last year's final again. which is not a bad thing because we said in our review they were all really good. So
Yeah, in particular, I remember Loach being really good.
yeah.
They were definitely standout for me.
Yeah, so 2 from each semi-final will go through to the final, which kicks off Uprising. And yeah, highly recommend that you get there early to make sure you check out all those bands because that is included in your ticket price, which is £41, by the way. Another bargain for all day of music.
Yeah, and considering how many bands and the size of these bands as well, I think it's an amazing ticket price. So yeah, like you strongly recommend people go and get a ticket and go to this because it is a great festival.
So yeah, that's going to be running 12:30 until 3. And I can't remember off the top of my head when the results were announced last year, whether it was before the first band came on to Academy 2, which is where the Metal to the Masters final is, or if it was slightly later on in the afternoon. But it will be at some point on that day.
I think it was later on in the day, and it
Yeah.
might have been just before the Academy 2 headliner.
It was earlier than that, I
Oh, was
think.
it?
Yeah. We'll have to check back. But yeah, obviously it will be announced on the day, so we'll know who'll be going through to Bloodstock. So the main event will, as it were, will then commence after the Metal to the Masters final. But before we start talking about the bands, I'll just tell you a bit about the venue, because when we did our preview last year, we hadn't really got a clue because we'd never been there before.
No, we got no idea, had we?
We knew it was a building. We knew there were 3 stages, but we didn't have a clue about anything else.
Yeah, and it's actually really well laid out because as you kind of get into, essentially, you walk into the main part of the O2, don't you, first?
Yeah, there's kind of a foyer where they
Boy,
had
where's got the merch?
the merch. I think there was a Sophie stand.
There was a Sophie stand there, yeah.
And a cloakroom if you should wish to use that. And I believe there were some toilets there as well. Always important to know.
Mm. And yeah, one thing to kind of note about this place that I really remember from last year is how dark it is.
Oh, going through the main
Yeah.
stage area, main room.
Yeah, as you go into the main room, it is pitch black. So you do need to kind of just be a little bit careful in there, just be a little bit mindful of your surroundings because it is pitch black. And once you're not used to it, it's lethal.
Yeah, I might take my head torch this year. So yeah, you've got the main room where the main stage is, known as Academy 1. And then you walk through into almost like an in-between foyer kind of area, it feels, doesn't it?
It does a little bit, yeah.
Between the kind of 2 main rooms, which is where the Academy 3 stage is. So that's quite a small space. So if there's someone you want to see in there, I definitely recommend getting there in good time.
Yeah, it does get busy there.
And then you walk through some more double doors and you're into Academy 2, or the second stage.
Yeah, which is a smaller capacity to the main room and does have access to the outside as well. I think there's like a smoking area there.
There is, and I think that's what they term kind of the chill out area.
Yeah.
As well. So
yeah, and I think there's food vendors, a couple of food vendors there.
Yeah, I don't think, have we had anything confirmed about food this year? I'm not sure.
I've not seen anything.
But last year it was a really nice kind of Indian deli stall.
Yeah.
And even you enjoyed it without meat.
I did actually remember in the review saying how good it was. It was really, really good.
I'm glad we recorded that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be averse to a bit of chicken in there or something, but, that's just me.
Yeah, so if that's there again as the kind of main venue food option, I will be more than happy. And there was last year also Motley Brew, providing tea, coffee, and cakes and other snackage.
Yeah. Kept us going.
That coffee definitely did. And outside the venue, there was kind of a burger and chips van, wasn't there?
It was,
in the kind of car parky bit.
One other thing about the Academy 1 stage as well is it's not just the main floor space. It's got a huge balcony that runs around it.
Oh, kind of a U-shaped balcony.
Yeah.
And there's also quite a bit of seating around
there is, yeah.
well, if you can
if you can find a spot to perch on, yeah.
Which is obviously always welcome.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really like the kind of layout for it. It reminds me, the balcony actually reminds me a little bit of Rock City.
Yeah, like a bigger version or a different shape.
A different shaped version, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because of you've got seating in both places, haven't you, at the back upstairs?
Yeah, that's true. I think it just feels like there's a bit more space actually on the literal balcony than there is at Rock City.
Oh, yeah, there's the space on the balcony at Rock City is very small, and the walkway itself is thin, whereas this one feels a lot wider.
Yeah, more spacious. And there was a bar, I think, downstairs.
Yes.
In the main room, and then one at the back of Academy 2.
Yeah. There's also seating downstairs, I think, in Academy 1.
Oh, I think there is.
On the left side of the stage.
Yes, I remember that now. There were some round tables.
Yeah. So it's unusual to be in a place that's got so much seating available. Because generally from these kind of places, you don't expect it.
Yeah, you kind of get it in, obviously in arenas. But yeah, bigger venues, you might get a little bit.
Mm.
But I definitely think this has got more than most
Normal,
that size. So yeah, good venue to watch in. Right, so what we're going to do is talk you through all of the bands that are going to be playing at Uprising, and we're going to do it stage by stage and in time order from openers through to headliners.
Yes, that's the plan.
That's the plan. We may go astray because,
That's what we do.
it happens. So yeah, opening up Academy 3 are Bloodyard at 3:20.
Yeah. They're a four-piece black metal band with a female vocalist, and they opened the Sophie stage last year.
Yeah, they're on my list of want to see if I can bands. And I think they clashed with somebody else, annoyingly, but get to see
No
them.
excuses this time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very, very loud, very, very fast.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good opener for that stage, really wake people up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a real kick in the balls, that one.
Yeah, especially if people are only getting there for that. I mean, they shouldn't get there for the start of the festival itself, get there for Metal to the Masses. But yeah, it's definitely a wake up for anyone who's just turning up and hasn't been warmed up already.
Yeah.
Next band up then is Battalions, who are a kind of sludgy stoner metal band from Hull. Every time I see a band from Hull, they just describe how shit it is as a place.
Yeah, it doesn't make you want to visit Hull, does it?
And this is no offence to anyone from Hull. We've never been, so we can't comment. And I've actually heard some good things about it, in terms of the architecture at least. But yeah, I think one of their blurbs is proving once again that the shittest places on earth can be a crucible for the dirtiest of music. So, if that's what being from Hull does, you make good music, then fair enough.
Yeah, this is another band that have played Bloodstock. They were on the new Blood stage back in 2017. And it's that long ago that it was the Hobgoblin stage then.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, and they played the Tap before as well, and they've also got a gig coming up there soon.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I really like these from what I've heard of them. They seem quite kind of bouncy sludge, catchy sludge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got a proper groove to it, hasn't it? And yeah, I'm enjoying that. Next up then is Sugar Horse, who are a band we are familiar with again. We saw these at Mangata last year. They played the Red Room. Yeah,
they've got really interesting sound, haven't they? It's hard to describe, I find.
Yeah, it's very different to a lot of the other stuff. I feel like there's a few bands on each stage that have got not the same sound, but very different to a lot of the other things that are there.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix throughout all of the stages. But yeah, it'd be good to see them again if they don't clash with anybody.
Yeah, they also played Arctangent last year and did a tour of Poland, I think, in February.
Okay.
They were definitely around that part of the world.
Yeah.
So they've definitely been out and about this year.
And just to say as well, their Instagram handle, Sugar Horse, are awful. They're not awful.
No, they're not really good, but the tags for everything did make me laugh.
They do seem to be quite self-deprecating as a band. Next up then, we're back for some sludgy sounds, and it's Barbarian Hermit from Manchester.
Yeah, 5-piece, won the Metal to the Masses in 2018, and then went on to play the Sophie stage in 2019 as well. So they've obviously, so they've just been getting bigger and bigger. And yeah, really looking forward to their set. Sugar Horse and Barbarian Hermit are two that I've kind of got on definite list for Academy 3.
Yeah, weirdly, they're not a name that I was that familiar with before I saw them on the lineup.
No,
saying how
I
long they've
wasn't.
been around, really, but should be good.
Next up then is Borstal, UK hardcore band, and like their members have just been in everything, it seems.
Yeah, it's like a really weird mixture when I read who was in it or who the members had been with before.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Barker alone has been in Progeria, Cradle of Filth, Dimmu Borgir, Testament. That's a collection just from one person.
Exactly. Yeah, and then Pierre Mendeville from Knuckle Dust. Yeah,
so these have been just kind of going from strength to strength, really. Just absolutely banging everything out. And they've played like the main stage at Bloodstock. They've done sold out debut headline shows in London. Yeah,
they've been around quite a bit, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're definitely going to kind of add a different twist, finish off the night on Academy 3, bring it like really heavy kind of hardcore, punky type.
Yeah, but it kind of switches to that, doesn't it? And yeah, I mean, they've even had a 7-inch release a couple of years ago which was produced by Russ Russell, who's worked with kind of Napalm Death, The Exploited, At the Gates. So they've kind of got a very rich history there. And you can see why they're so high up the bill.
And then headlining Academy 3 are the legends that are Discharge.
Yeah, they've been around about as long as I've been alive.
You're going to say, we're going back to the 70s with these guys. Again, one of those bands I don't think I've seen before, but if I have, I don't remember. I feel like I should have done by now.
Yeah.
So it will be good to get them ticked off.
Yeah, like we said, they've been around such a long time. And they, in turn, have kind of influenced so many other bands like Napalm Death, Celtic Frost, Sepultura. They've all kind of said they're an influence.
Yeah, and they've one of these bands that have kind of twisted and turned in terms of their own style as well over the years, haven't they? From kind of classic hardcore punk to start with, they had kind of a glam phase.
Yeah, it's just constantly evolved,
yeah, and they've had obviously changes in lineup over the many, many years that they've been around as well. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of set they're going to bring.
Yeah, I suppose with all the different styles, you don't know what it's actually going to be.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be more of their kind of classic original sound, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, they might throw a glam bit in there just for you. You never know.
And that concludes Academy 3. Moving on to the Academy 2 stage then, and the openers for this one are a band that for some unbeknownst reason we haven't seen live yet, and that is Tribe of Ghosts.
Yeah, I don't understand that. And we actually would have had a chance last year unless they kind of clashed with us doing interviews because they were at Bloodstock.
I think they clashed with us doing interviews, and they played the Friday night of Uprising last year, which we've already said we didn't get to.
Yeah.
Bloodstock 2022, they were in the New Blood tent as Metal to the Masses winners. And we've said before, we only made it to New Blood for one band through that heat wave, didn't we? So
was that devastating?
It was devastating, yeah. It just seemed like too far to crawl in the heat.
Yeah, in our defence, it was extreme.
Yeah.
But I really like Tribe of Ghosts.
Yeah.
And the way they mix their vocals up.
Yeah, everything about them I love, and I've heard such good things about their live performances that...
It's funny you say that. I've been watching some of their sets online, and I think there's one from Bloodstock last year, and Jesus Christ, it's unbelievable. The vocal range and style that they knock out is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I've also seen a few of their own kind of official videos as well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah, I really can't wait. They're definitely one of my, if I have to pick some must-sees.
Yeah, they're on my must-see list.
Because there's obviously going to be, we're not going to be able to see everybody because there will be some clashes, but they're definitely a must-see for me.
Next up then is Ramage Inc., who are another band that I really can't wait to see because this stuff kind of reminds me of Devin Townsend.
Yeah, I found it really interesting what I've heard of them so far. Kind of experimental prog, would you say?
Yeah, definitely kind of a prog sound there. And they've played like some huge festivals. They've played Prog Power Europe, Download, Bloodstock. And yeah, it's going to be great to see them on the Academy 2 stage because I think for a band like that as well, and the soundscape that these guys make, it's going to be such an intense kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it's going to be a similar atmosphere to when we saw Lowen on that stage last year.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. But again, these are a band that I'd not really heard of till I saw them on the Uprising lineup. And considering they've been at Download and Bloodstock before, I don't know how they've passed me by, really.
Yeah, same. I really don't get it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah, although I think I've seen something, somewhere describe them as Scotland's best kept secret, so maybe
that's why.
Maybe they keep themselves hidden. Who knows? But yeah, definitely looking forward to them. Next band then is my favourite Nemesis, another band that were new to me prior to seeing the lineup. They're kind of a Finnish metal, kind of metalcore, modern metal. You probably won't like them because they're Finnish. Listen back to our, is that April roundup?
It was the April round, yeah.
That is just an in-joke. If you've not listened to that episode, find out what we're on about. The anti-Finn.
We've done this, I'm not anti-Finn. Children of Bodom. They were from Finland.
Anyway, getting
sidetracked again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting because from kind of what's going to come before with Ramage Inc., this is a much kind of darker, sort of harder feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it reminded me a little bit of maybe kind of Ginger or Arch Enemy.
Yeah.
that kind of sound, because they've got a female vocalist. Obviously, I don't want to just compare on that basis, but the sound was those kind of vibes.
Closer
I
to that
felt,
kind of
yeah.
feeling, yeah. Yeah, and they've been I think they've been touring Finland and the touring the UK with the release of their new EP, We Annihilate I.
Yeah, I don't know if that's been released. Yeah, I think it's due this month if it hasn't yet. I
Yeah,
can't remember off the
but
top
I
of my head.
imagine that we'll be playing quite a bit from that.
Mm.
So again, it'll be good to hear kind of something like that again.
Yeah, and it'll be good. It's kind of a different sound to the room. Looking forward to them too.
Next up, we have Lestel, not to be confused with Estelle.
No, comes on with Kanye.
Yeah, from about 15 years ago, not to be confused there.
There's another band or another word that they reminded me of as well. Lestat. Did Witch Doctor? No.
No,
Okay.
passed me by that. Yeah, these are a five-piece kind of post-hardcore band. Very, very atmospheric. And they've actually got a new single out called Life in Silhouettes.
Yeah, sound-wise, they reminded me a bit of Palm Reader.
Oh, okay. I've not thought about that. Yeah. They did remind me of somebody. I can't think who it was, but I thought they seemed actually to me like a band that would fit really well with Shikari on the tour.
Yeah, that would work. And interestingly, they have a singing drummer, which I'm very intrigued to see.
Yeah.
Because that's a rarity, isn't it?
I can't think of any band. No, there is a band who we've seen that have a singing drummer, and I can't think who it is.
Can't remember. Obviously, you get drummers who do the backing vocals,
Yeah.
but not taking lead in vocals. So, yeah, definitely a rarity. So I'm intrigued to see how that works live. And then headlining the Academy 2 stage are a band that we spoke to last week. And the episode is already out there for you to listen to too. And that is a band that we've not seen for quite some time.
One that I'm very excited about.
Breed 77.
Yeah, previous guests, and I'm like a little kid. I'm so excited for this one. I love Brew 77, and I can't wait to see what sort of set they play, because they said in the interview they've got such a catalogue that they can choose from. So it'll be amazing to see what they decide to pull out of the bag. Yeah,
and I said they're going to drop a couple of new tracks in.
Yeah.
One of which has been released. Have they released the other one yet? I can't remember now. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I've never seen them before.
I know. And it's been 20 years for me.
Yeah, and it's obviously been a long time since they played anywhere anyway. So I'm expecting quite a big crowd for this one.
I don't think you'll be able to move. I think everybody will go crazy for this. So if you want to watch them, I suggest getting there and getting a good spot early.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking back to last year's headliners, which was...
Combi Christ.
That's the one. I nearly said a completely different band. Yeah, it was absolutely rammed in there to start with, at least. Then it did kind of trickle down a bit, but yeah, it was hard to get a decent spot in there for Combi Christ, so we'll be prepared this time.
Yeah.
Although a very different vibe to what Combi Christ was, sound-wise.
Yeah, it's kind of like flamenco, metal, new metal sort of sound.
Yeah.
It's very different.
As opposed to like a metal rave that you get with Combi Christ. Yes. So, but yeah, looking forward to seeing them finally.
Moving on then to Academy 1 stage, which is the main stage in the O2 at Leicester. And opening there, we have Mage, who are a five-piece from Leicester.
Yeah, they always seem to have a local band opening the main stage, don't they? Because last year it was Internal Conflict.
Yeah, I've actually noticed quite a few local bands as well this year. Can't remember if there were last year or not in total, but I haven't noticed quite a few. And I think that's a great thing to kind of promote local bands too. And yeah, I really want to see these. There's parts of it that kind of, the sort of stoner side to it kind of reminds me of Sinkalima.
It did me, actually. Yeah, kind of when I've been listening to them on kind of the Uprising playlist, actually. Just mention that there is an official Uprising playlist out there if you want to check out all the band randomly. But yeah, every time Major have come on, I've been like, yeah, this is really catchy, really fun. That kind of, those bass lines and everything really remind me of the Sinkalima bass lines.
Yeah, we're big fans of Sinkalima, and I really want to see these. Mage sound amazing from what I've heard so far.
Yeah, and again, they're one of those bands that I've seen quite a lot on different lineup posters.
Yeah.
But just never had the chance to watch. So, yes, I think they are a very good choice for opening up the main stage. Next up is a band that I can't wait to see again.
Same, yeah.
And that is Seething Akira. We saw them opening up the main stage at Bloodstock last year on the Saturday, which was great to see them on that big stage, but I'm really looking forward to seeing them in an indoor venue on a smaller stage, just because I think it'll really suit
I think it'll
the
suit
atmosphere
them,
of the room and everything. They've just got that big kind of electronic new metal crossover kind of sound that I love. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm saying they're a six-piece from Portsmouth. And I remember saying to you, and I think we said it in the review as well, some of the videos and stuff that they the movie footage that they combined with their songs, I was in total awe of it. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, it's just like a whole kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Performance.
Yeah, really well rounded.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if they have video screens on at the A2. I can't remember now if there was or if it would just be a static backdrop. Be interesting to see, but
Yeah, I can't remember. I imagine they do have video screens, but I don't know whether they'll be using them all day.
we'll find out, won't we?
We will.
And Stephen and Kira are actually joining Breed 77 on their little tour that follows on from Uprising as well. So if you go into that show, that would be, or those shows rather, they sound quite awesome as well.
Yeah, they do. If you get a chance to go to a Breed 77 and see the Akira show, I'll be honest, I'm quite tempted to look at the dates myself and see if I could squeeze any in.
Yeah, I think they're all fairly
They're all down south, I think, a
aren't
majority.
they? Yeah, which Breed 77 kind of did talk about in our interview, really, just to make things easier, kind of from where they're based.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll be back for more dates. And I know that Stephen and Akira have also got more dates, so look out for those too if you're not at Uprising.
Next up are Forlorn, and they're a five-piece who I think played Radar last year. Not 100%, but I'm sure they did.
I can imagine them playing there. They've got that kind of different kind of vibe about them that would suit what they tend to have at Radar, if you know what I mean.
They've been featured on Kerrang Radio, in Metal Hammer, and yeah, incredible, kind of like really, really big soundscapes, insane drums, brutal screams. So I think anybody who's kind of into sort of like thrash metal will really enjoy this.
Yeah, I think they sound really interesting because they're classed as, or I don't know if it's their own description or what someone said as folk horror, which on paper is very much my kind of cuppa.
Yeah, that's actually a great way to describe them.
Yeah, and they've got kind of really ethereal vocals that mix with those screams and, like you said, those big kind of black metal-esque soundscapes.
Yeah.
With pagan vibes going through as well. So I am really looking forward to seeing these.
Yeah, I could see you really enjoying this.
And next up are another band that I think sound really interesting. I'm very intrigued to see live, and that is Stella Darling, who are a kind of heavy prog folk band from Switzerland.
Yeah, a three-piece from Lucerne. And yeah, they played some really decent-sized shows, including Rescue Rooms.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them on listings and stuff around and about.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, Rescue Rooms is, what, 450 capacity, somewhere around there?
Yeah, 400, I think. Yeah, when I was listening to them, well, I've listened to them last few weeks, really, but I got a similar vibe from them to Heilung.
Yes, I'd not thought about that.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see them at Download this year. But yeah, a lot of the kind of folk elements of the music really reminded me of those. Very different. And I think, yeah, the placement on the bill is quite interesting. Because obviously, opening with the Stoner Vibes is made, and then obviously Stephen Akira will be like a brutal onslaught.
It will be, yeah.
Forlorn are kind of mixing it up, and they've got that mix of a bit chill but also heavy. And then I think Stella Darling will be like a quite chilled kind of set.
Different sound. Which I seem to remember they did last year.
I was just going to say, it reminds me of the similar placement that, is it Saor? I can't remember how you say it. It's Saor had last year on the bill. So yeah, I think it's following that kind of structure.
But it worked last year.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It's almost a little bit of downtime.
Yeah.
For you to get prepared for the end, because the next band up,
Operageria,
who will be an absolute heavy onslaught once again.
Yeah, and they've been around for such a long time now. And yeah, I mean, they've been on hiatus lots of times because people are either been leaving or involved in other bands as well.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying listening to these. They're really heavy, kind of brutal Mexican grindcore.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
But do you know what? I can't think of a better way to describe it. Yeah.
But catchy at the same time. I've
got
a couple of tracks in particular. Is it Matando Guerreros? Sorry about the pronunciation. But yeah, that one was a real earworm when I've been listening to it.
Yeah, I think they're a great choice to kind of sub-headline this stage. And they're really going to get everybody moving.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to these. And finally then, the headliners of Academy One and the event as a whole, which I am very looking forward to. And I actually did an out loud squee.
I was just going to say.
When I saw the lineup, a literal squee. It's Catatonia, with a K, which I'm sure everybody realises, but I still feel the need to say that
Yeah.
when it's not something visual that you're looking at. And I believe that you, as a latecomer to the Catatonia party, are now looking forward to seeing them too.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing them. I'm just going back to the squeak that you made. I actually remember that happening and being in another room of the house. And I heard this high-pitched squeak, and I came in to see if you were okay. And you just looked at me and went, "Have you seen the headliner? Have you seen it?"
Yeah, because I think they'd announced a lot of the lineup beforehand around Bloodstock time. I remember getting a flyer at Bloodstock actually, but the headliner was still TBC at that point.
Yeah, it was. And I think we knew early in advance, didn't we? Pretty much all of the bill.
Yeah.
But it was just a headliner. Obviously, we couldn't divulge any information, but it was everybody except the headliner. And yeah, once the headliner was announced, the noise you made, I've never seen it, never heard anything like it in my life.
I was excited anyway, let's just say.
Yeah.
And up until about 2 weeks ago, you were not converted, were you? I kept saying to you, listen to them, I kept playing your tracks, I put videos on. I couldn't understand
Why it didn't click.
It wasn't working. And then about 2 weeks ago, something clicked and you had a revelation and you made an announcement.
Yes. The reason was when you'd been playing me stuff, I think it had been either through a laptop or you played it on the TV.
In the car.
But I think for me to kind of really appreciate what it was, I needed to listen to it with headphones on. And at that point, I'd just not had the chance to do it because we've been listening to so much other stuff. And then once I had kind of listened to a bit, I was like, okay, I get it now. This makes perfect sense. And now I'm really excited too.
I mean, they're interesting ones. Obviously, they've changed their sound somewhat since they first came about in the 90s. And although I like their original stuff, I think I prefer this newer sound that they've got, well, that they've had for a long time now, but...
Yeah, I mean, you can't kind of deny that they are not a worthy headliner because just look at the stuff they've done. Their back catalogue's just insane.
Yeah, I can't even think what kind of set list we're going to get. I know when they played Damnation, well, they headlined Damnation last year on one of the days, and that was actually just a full run-through of Dead End Kings, the 2012 album.
Yeah.
But it was billed as that, so it wasn't like, we just turned up and played them.
Yeah.
But there's been nothing like this on here, so I'm hoping it's going to be a good mix, kind of greatest hits type.
I think it will be.
Set, yeah.
The fact that they've not kind of said it's an anniversary of this and we're playing this would indicate that they're going to mix everything up, and you'll get kind of like a greatest hits and maybe something new if they've been working on something.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see, but I can't wait. And I think in a similar vein to how they had Paradise Lost headlining last year, I think it's a great choice to have a classic
band from that era, yeah.
So yeah, finally get to tick them off. I'm starting to lose hope. Not that I've not had opportunity, but it's just never fitted right. So.
Yeah, so there's something in the way.
Yeah.
Right, so that's every band that we can name at this point. Obviously, we can't name the Metal to the Masses semi-finalists that we spoke about earlier, but make sure you get a ticket of this because this is going to be another great day of music. Like Jem said, it's a bargain price. I mean, like £41, and I can't even think how many bands there are. 3 stages. It's just going to be great.
Yeah, definitely. As we speak, there are some tickets still available, but don't wait too long because when this episode goes out, it will be 9 days before the event. So
tickets will be low.
Just to say as well, I don't think we've mentioned the way that the lineup works with this as well is the main room and Academy 2 tend to be kind of back to back.
Yeah.
And the Academy 3 kind of crosses over.
It overlaps the other 2. Yeah.
So there is a good chance if you run around, you can pretty much see part of every band set, if not the whole set.
Yes.
And obviously we'll be watching as many as we can to report back on in our review episode. Probably a break for some, I was going to say cheesy chips, but we don't know the food yet. And then finally, as if 2 days of music aren't enough, we just want to mention the Sunday night that's been put on, which is a new edition this year, which we can't actually go to. But if you are up for a third night in a row of music, or even a second if you don't go to the Friday, and you're around, you're local to Leicester, you want to make a full-on weekend of it, there are also some bands on the Sunday night, again at the O2 Academy, and this one is £20 in advance. So opening up the night is Offness, who are an atmospheric kind of black metal band from South Wales. Next up is the Infernal Sea, which is kind of a black metal band, apparently from the English Fenlands.
Okay.
Wherever that may be. Apologies for my geographical ignorance. And then there are Ghosts of Atlantis, who I'm hoping to see at some point this year, and I can't remember where at, but they're definitely on something we're at, I am sure.
Yes, I want to see Ghost of Atlantis too.
I want to say Mangata, but yeah, at some point they're on something we're going to, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them later in the year. And then headlining the Sunday night are Arcona, who are a Russian kind of folk metal band who have been around for over 20 years.
Yeah, they've been around a hell of a long time. And 4 of the lineup have been around since about 2004. So they've still kind of maintained quite a consistent lineup.
Yeah, I think they sound really interesting. I'm quite miffed really that we can't stay on another night, but
Yeah.
hopefully we might get to see them at some point somewhere. But yeah, that's an extra night of music. Sounds really good. 4 awesome sounding bands there for another £20.
Yeah.
So even if you do the whole weekend, it's
£70.
£70, which
in the grand scheme of things is nothing. Three nights of music. Well, a full day and 2 nights of music.
Yeah, so yeah, get on that if you can. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed listening to our kind of preview of all of the bands and other things you can kind of expect from the Uprising Festival, which is taking place, because I don't know if we said the dates. I don't even know if we said the dates.
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. Professional as always. So the Friday night is the 24th of May, Saturday the 25th, and then that final night, Sunday the 26th. Just want to do a quick shout out to Dan at DC Sound Attack for arranging our press tickets for the event. So thank you as always, Dan. And yeah, stay tuned in a couple of weeks' time. I can't get the dates in my head now, but yeah, we'll obviously have our review episode where we tell you about all of the bands that we did see and whatever else we may have got up to over the 2 days, nights, whatever that were there. And we'll obviously be sharing some kind of videos and photos as and when we can whilst we're at the event. And there will probably be a little vlog as well to follow on too. And where can you find all of these things, you may wonder? You can find us on Instagram, Twitter and Threads at Ready to Mosh Cast, Facebook, TikTok and YouTube at Ready to Mosh. And don't forget that we also now have a Patreon, which is a bargain price of £3 a month. And what do you get for your £3 a month? Well, you get to hear all of the bloopers that don't make it into the show, and I can assure you there are quite a few of those. You also get to hear episodes a full 24 hours before anyone else, wherever possible. And you also get a sneak advance preview of what we've got coming up for the following month. And if you'd like to just support the podcast for free, we would love that very much indeed too. And to do that, you can leave us a 5-star rating and a review on wherever you're listening to the podcast. And like and share our socials. And if you do see us at Uprising, come say hello. We'll probably be just hiding in the corner looking awkward as usual. But yeah, come say hello. If we remember, we'll even give you a sticker because we're kind like that. And we'll be back soon, hopefully, with some interviews on some of the bands we're hoping to see very soon. Make it mosh move.